The human body operates on a strict oxygen budget. Once submerged, the clock starts. Without air, we reach the threshold of hypoxia rapidly. Cells starve, cognitive function drops, and the brain initiates an emergency shutdown to preserve vital organs. Yet, among the reef systems of Southeast Asia, the Bajau people routinely bypass this biological ceiling. They execute underwater hunts that last up to 17 minutes on a single breath. This chart compares the official, unassisted human breath-holding world record against the Bajau capability. The extreme athletic limit caps just under 12 minutes. The Bajau marker stretches to 17 minutes, an anomaly that breaks established medical parameters. Psychological willpower fails to explain these dives. The human brain faces absolute metabolic constraints that cannot be willed away through effort or focus alone.
The Bajau, historically known as the Sea Nomads, navigate and reside within the complex maritime networks of Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. Their sustained survival in this demanding ecosystem provides a highly documented, verifiable record of evolutionary biology actively reshaping human anatomy. To parse exactly how they achieve this aquatic mastery, we must bypass assumptions about rigorous behavioral conditioning and dissect the exact biomechanics keeping them alive underwater. Their dive methodology relies entirely on analog equipment. There are no fins to generate thrust, no buoyancy compensators, and zero supplemental oxygen, only hand-carved wooden goggles. To conserve their strict oxygen supply, they initiate the descent by sinking completely vertically. This passive freefall eliminates the metabolic cost of swimming downward against natural buoyancy. Once they reach the seafloor, they minimize kinetic output, deploying simple tools like a homemade spear gun to forage with high mechanical efficiency. Still, hypoxia remains a rigid metabolic wall. Once blood oxygen saturation drops below a critical percentage, tissue failure becomes unavoidable, regardless of how slowly an individual moves. While vertical sinking reduces energy expenditure, this mechanical efficiency is mathematically insufficient to delay hypoxia for over 15 minutes. Since the external physical execution of the dive cannot account for the duration, the answer requires a structural alteration to their internal anatomy. When a human face contacts cold water, the body immediately triggers the mammalian dive reflex, a hardwired biological survival mechanism. This reflex executes two immediate commands: bradycardia, which forces the heart rate to plummet, and peripheral vasoconstriction, which restricts blood vessels in the limbs to redirect oxygen solely to the vital organs. A 2018 study revealed an anatomical variation. This cross-section compares a standard spleen to an expanded state. During a deep dive, it serves as a biological reservoir, contracting to inject oxygen-rich blood cells directly into the circulatory system. This split-screen data visualization reveals that the Bajau possess spleens measuring 50% larger by volume than those of genetically similar land-dwelling populations. This organic expansion alters the mathematics of their internal oxygen storage. It provides a massive on-demand infusion of red blood cells, functioning as a biological scuba tank. Standard sports science frequently attributes extreme athletic endurance to a lifetime of rigorous conditioning. The initial assumption was that thousands of hours spent diving had physically stretched the Bajau lung capacity. Medical imaging proved otherwise. Scans of Bajau individuals who had never executed a freedive in their lives still possessed the exact same enlarged spleen volume. The origin of the trait sits explicitly in their DNA. Genomic sequencing isolated a distinct sequence variant in the Bajau profile, the PDE10A gene. This specific genetic marker regulates the production of thyroid hormones, which control the physical growth of the spleen during fetal gestation. The Bajau breath hold is the result of natural selection filtering their genome over thousands of years of aquatic isolation. This trait persists regardless of an individual's specific behavioral training. Their physical divergence is mirrored by their external cultural footprint. For centuries, the sea nomads practiced pure pelagic nomadism. Entire generations lived out their lifespans on wooden houseboats, touching solid land strictly to trade goods or bury their dead. Modern geopolitical boundaries have largely forced them into fixed settlements. They have transitioned into permanent, hyper-dense villages constructed directly over shallow ocean reefs. The architecture itself is engineered for direct access to the sea.
The homes sit entirely off the landmass, suspended on wooden stilts driven straight into the tidal zone. Living suspended over the water integrates them seamlessly into localized marine environments, allowing them to navigate isolated ecosystems safely. Their permanent villages function as a structural extension of their genetics. Every plank and stilt is positioned to ensure their existence remains fully embedded within the ocean. This relationship between biology, architecture, and the sea is currently failing under the velocity of modern industrial output. Historically, the Bajau relied on a purely biodegradable waste cycle. Organic refuse dropped through the floorboards was rapidly consumed by the surrounding reef. That ancient cycle fractured with the sudden arrival of anthropogenic polymers. Synthetically packaged goods entered their localized economy, bringing materials the ocean cannot process. The introduction of plastic occurred entirely outside the bounds of modern municipal infrastructure. These remote stilt villages lack automated waste collection, trash cans, or safe incineration facilities. Applying an ancient disposal habit to modern synthetic materials yields immediate environmental degradation. Non-degradable packaging accumulates continuously, blanketing the ground and choking the exact reef systems they rely on for survival. A population adapted to the natural world is facing systemic collapse because their inherited habits cannot dismantle modern industrial chemistry. The Bajau exist as a study in contrast. They possess specialized internal adaptations housed within a vulnerable modern architectural framework. Just as tectonic pressure divides sandstone over geologic time, the demands of the deep sea drove the evolution of the Bajau genome. This evolutionary victory is now colliding directly with the rapid acceleration of global ocean pollution. Natural selection operates on a glacial timeline. The human body cannot mutate fast enough to outpace the accumulation of synthetic plastics in this immediate environment. The upcoming generation of sea nomads inherits the precise genetic advantages of their ancestors, yet they are forced to navigate an ecosystem that is rapidly degrading. The continued survival of the sea nomads has moved beyond the metrics of human breathholding. Their future relies on global infrastructural responsibility and the mitigation of industrial waste. Dive deeper into the hidden secrets that shape our reality. Click the subscribe button, activate the bell, and see you in the next scientific investigation, only on TEMBODocs.